Chess, a game of kings, queens, and ducks? Wait, this seems like a mistake. What does a duck have to do with chess? Well, it does. Not in regular chess, but in duck chess, where a duck is a piece just like any other pieces on the board. This is just one of the 8 chess variants we will be talking about today that you probably didn't know about. Some go even crazier than just ducks, and yes, it involves explosions. First, we'll be looking at duck chess. Duck chess is just like a regular game of chess invented by Dr. Tim Paulden in 2016. But it has an extra piece added, which is, you guessed it, the duck. The rules are still the same with slight differences. There are no checks or checkmates. In order to win, you must capture the opponent's king. In case of stalemate, the stalemated player wins. And the duck has to be moved on every turn. The duck piece can be controlled by both players on their respective turns after they make their normal move. And it blocks the square it's on, making it impossible for pieces to move to that square or through it. But knights can jump over it.
Aha! Now who's the man? See, now I'm starting to get the point of the game. See, because I block everything here, right? This is a good move, isn't it?
I'm guessing you can now imagine the new tactical possibilities and difficulties it creates. In this play, for example, after black played his move, he moved the duck to f3, denying his opponent of a pawn to f3 move that will fork his knight and queen. But after white plays his move, he moved the duck to the only safe square for black's queen to go to, which is h5, thus trapping black's queen. Duck chess became popular recently in 2022, after popular streamers like Hikaru, Eric Rosen, Anna and Gotham Chess played it on their streams. Moving away from ducks, we head over to explosions. We all know that chess is a fire game, but in this variant, it is literally a fire game. Most of the rules of standard chess also apply to atomic chess. The main difference lies in what happens after a piece is captured. In atomic chess, whenever a piece gets captured, an explosion happens that destroys all the pieces surrounding the captured piece except for pawns. It even destroys the piece that did the capturing. Just like regular chess where a player wins after checkmating his opponent, in atomic chess, in order to win, you must checkmate your opponent. However, there is also another way, which is if you can blow up the opponent's king. This takes sacrificing your rook to a whole new level if it means blowing up your opponent's king and getting the win.
I've sacrificed, that's right, you guessed it, the rook!
Another unique feature of this variant is the rule that a player cannot blow up both kings at the same time, so the king can move to an attack square in order to get away. In this example, the white king can keep chasing the black king around, and because an explosion cannot happen, even if the player is up a queen, the game ends in a draw. Dialing it down a bit from weird animals and explosions, we have the 3-player chess. 3-player chess is, well, just like it says in its name, a chess game played with 3 players instead of 2 on a 96 squared hexagonal shaped board. Now there are multiple board shapes it can be played on, like a circle or a nonagon. The introduction of a 3rd player drastically alters the style of play, even when standard pieces are used. Many chess openings are useless due to the extended board and 3rd player. Each player must think twice as far ahead, anticipating the moves of both opponents with the added complexity that the next player may move to attack either opponent. Previously, it was an elimination game, meaning if one player gets checkmated, the other 2 players continue the game. However, after some situations where 2 players started ganging up on one player, making the experience less enjoyable, a new rule that determines the winner being the first person that delivers a checkmate, with the 3rd player losing in addition to the checkmated player. Next, we have Bog House chess, or doubles. Bog House is played by 4 players divided into 2 teams on 2 separate boards, with each player playing as the opposite colors. Allied players work together to checkmate someone from the other side. Most of the standard chess rules are still applied to Bog House, with some extra crucial rules added. It is usually played in blitz time controls. However, it is not shared between teams and each board has its own clock. And if time runs out for a player, the team loses the game. For captures, this is where things get crazy and exciting. As mentioned, each team controls 2 colors, so when you capture your opponent's piece, you can give that piece to your teammate playing on the other board. Your teammate can then reserve that piece for later, and at any time, they can use their move to place that piece on the board, changing the course of the game. Here's an example. Imagine you are playing as white, and your friend on your team is playing as black. If you capture your opponent's black queen, you can give it to your friend, and he can spend a turn placing it on his board at any point in the game. This might be helpful at preventing checkmates or pins. The game is over after one of the players is defeated, runs out of time, or resigns. Moving on, we have a chess variant that is so popular it even has its own official World Championship by FIDE, with Hikaru Nakamura being the current title holder. Chess 960, also known as Fischer Random Chess. This variant was heavily supported, invented and loved by legendary Grandmaster Bobby Fischer. hence the name Fischer Random Chess. It is played on the same regular chessboard using the same pieces. The difference lies within the positions of each player's home ranks, meaning that the pawns always remain at the same position, but bishops, knights, rooks, queens, and kings are placed in random positions.
I think Fischer Chess is I think the starting position is as close to ideal for creating a competitive game as possible, but they will still be interesting and diverse enough that you can play very interesting games.
This removes the advantage a player might have by memorizing openings and positions, and players must instead rely on their creativity and skills over the board. The number 960 in Chess 960's name comes from the number of possible positions and how the game can start. Both players will have the same random positions mirroring each other. Remember the explosions that happen in atomic chess? Well, this next variant seems to be the aftermath of the war that happens. It is called Fog of War. In this variant, players can see only the squares where their pieces can legally move. So, you cannot see any of your player's moves or position, unless you have vision over that square through one of your pieces. As you can see in this example, Black captured White's bishop in the corner, thus blinding White's vision of that diagonal. And as you guessed it, the game is full of surprises. Imagine the frustration of being checkmated out of nowhere. Another slight rule change is that checks and checkmates are not an option. A player can only win by capturing his opponent's king. Away from the fog, we enter the three-dimensional world, made famous by shows like Star Trek and The Big Bang Theory. Our next chess variant is 3D chess, played mainly over the board. The board consists of 3 4x4 layers and 4 more 2x2 areas for a total of 64 squares, the same number as there are in regular chess. This game has a lot of rules, including board moves, where you literally move the whole board, pieces jumping across boards, and multiple pieces occupying the same square, and other complicated rules. Explaining it would be long and boring, so if you're interested in learning it, I will link a video explaining all about it in the description. For now, just know that it exists. Going back to the normal 2D life, we have the final variant in this weird video, the Hexagonal Chess. Hexagonal Chess is a group of chess variants that is played on hexagonal-shaped boards with 91 hexagonal-shaped cells. Many different shapes and sizes of hexagonal-based boards are used by different variants. The most popular one being Glenkeys' Hexagonal Chess, played with 3 colors and 3 bishops for each player, along with an additional pawn for each player. This definitely changes some of the piece movements, but the basic concept still remains. Pawn moves forward 1 cell. Knights may move 2 cells orthogonally in one direction, and then 1 cell orthogonally at a 60-degree angle. The king may move 1 cell orthogonally or diagonally. The queen may move any number of cells orthogonally or diagonally. The bishop may move any number of cells diagonally, traveling through cell verticals, and the rook may move any number of cells orthogonally, traveling through cell edges. And there you have it. You can play most of the chess variants on chess.com and experience them yourself. Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you subscribe.